Hello everybody, welcome back to my channel. I hope you're all well. So if you watched my last video, you will know that I recently went to Bath and I had an absolutely lovely holiday with my family, and I thought I would show you the books and souvenirs that I got on my travels. As usual, I will leave links for all the books that I show you down in the description bar below, so if you are interested in purchasing them or just checking them out further, you can do by clicking the links down in the description box. So let's get straight into it. So one of the first places that I went to was a little independent bookshop, and I loved it so much that I got the canvas bag that actually goes to the shop. This is Mr. B's Emporium of Reading Delights. It was a fantastic independent bookshop. It covers 3 floors, and it was just one of these bookshops that had the real kind of cosy independent bookshop feel. There was lots of chairs about, and actually on the second floor, what I didn't kind of realise was going on at the time was someone had asked the kind of bookseller for book recommendations, and the bookseller had sat them down with teas and coffees complimentary, and just literally saying, right, you like this book, I have found 10 books that I think that you'll really enjoy. And it had that such really kind of friendly vibe. It's fantastic, and a bookshop that I'll definitely go into in the future. And because I enjoyed it so much, I did pick myself up a book. And the book that I picked up is this one. This is Howard's End by Ian Forster. I absolutely love this in the Penguin English Library editions. I love these bits. I think it's fantastic and beautiful, and I really like the cover of these. I know some people aren't the biggest fans, but I actually really like them. Howard's End, I believe, is about kind of 3 different families that come together, and it's about love, it's about death, and I think it's about just life in general and how their kind of family unit lives kind of intertwine, and that sounds really interesting. From a charity shop, can't believe this, but from a charity shop I picked up this, The Murder of Roger Ackroyd by Agatha Christie, in this beautiful facsimile edition that you guys know that I collect and usually spend about £10 or £11 on each of them, which I'm happy to spend because they are beautiful. But picking them up from a charity shop, wowee, that's amazing. Yeah, just randomly walked into a charity shop because a lot of other things were closed and managed to find this. And if you've never read The Murder of Roger Ackroyd, it is kind of the one that kind of made her quite famous and really kind of put her out there in comparison with the other kind of golden detectives of the age. And oh wow, managed to get this, amazing. And last of all, book-wise, I went to this independent bookshop called Goodbye Books. Buy as in purchase, not buy as in buy. B-U-Y. I picked up 2 books. I picked up Mrs. Robinson's Disgrace, The Private Diary of a Victorian Lady by Kate Summerscale. This, I feel, was kind of everywhere at a time, but now it's really kind of died down. But I know she wrote The Suspicion of Mr. Witcher, which is kind of a murder retelling, and this one I believe is about Mrs. Robinson, and in the Victorian times she was married to Mr. Robinson, and she fell for another man, and when in the divorce court she completely got slandered, and there was lots of scandals surrounding her. So Kate, I think, does kind of fictionalise it to make it a really interesting read. And lastly, I picked up this beautiful copy of Lizzie Bennet's Diary by Marcia Williams, inspired by Jane Austen's Pride and Prejudice. I don't know if you can see the gold foiling, but it's absolutely gorgeous. It's really sweet. I absolutely love this. Inside you have lots and lots of images, and it's one of these books that if you do love Pride and Prejudice, you will love this. In the front here, it says, "To my dear Lizzie, as you are my only daughter with any brain, I am giving you this diary. I will trust it will distract you from the idle chatter of your sisters and give you the opportunity to express your sharp observations and wit without distressing your mamma's nerves. Your loving papa, Mr. Bennet, Christmas 1810. And from there, we literally have this kind of diary format with lots of pictures and images and things like this that you can kind of fold out and read. It's fantastic. It literally does feel like a diary that Lizzie's been, you know, sticking things in, and yeah, fab. I love the little flaps and things like that. I love all the picture images, and it's fantastic and a great addition to my Jane Austen shelf. Moving on to kind of souvenirs, one of the first places that we went to was Number 1 Royal Crescent. I've actually been there before. If you don't know where it is within the Royal Crescent, obviously. It's the big, massive Georgian building, you can't miss it. But it's still in Georgian interiors inside, and it's absolutely beautiful and definitely worth the visit. While I was there, I went into the shop, I bought a few things. First thing I picked up was this little magnet, and it says, "A large income is the best recipe for happiness I've ever heard of." Quote Jane Austen, and of course that is going to go on my fridge. I also picked up a little book. This is Life in Georgian Britain, a Pitkin Guide. I really like these Pitkin guides for when I'm looking at other eras in history and I'm trying to work out which actual aspect about that kind of era I absolutely love, so I'm going to enjoy flicking through this. And I also picked up some postcards. The first one is this one, Comforts of Bath, and this kind of large man having his portrait painted while I hope it's his kind of wife cavorting with another man. Scandalous. And I picked up 2 of these Jane Austen postcards. Now these are very present in Bath and I absolutely love them. The first one that I picked up was Pride and Prejudice, but I also picked up Mansfield Park as well. I think these are absolutely fantastic and they kind of retell the story with little quotations and picture images, and I think they're lovely. Then, as you saw in my last video, I went to the Fashion Museum in Bath, and I didn't actually go to the shop the first time that I went there. Not sure why, probably because I was so warm, I get really hot in places. And then I'm just like, oh, I've got to leave. So this time I was just like, yes, I'm definitely going into the shop. So I picked up another one of the postcards. This one's Northanger Abbey. So I'm actually halfway there now to collecting them. I also picked up this little postcard, which is a bit of a comic one about a Georgian dance. And I thought that was just a little bit fun. And from the Fashion Museum, I also picked up the booklet that accompanies it. This is Fashion Museum Treasures. And this has got to be one of the best kind of accompanying guides that I have ever read. This book really does illustrate the absolute beautifulness of fashion and why I love to study the history of fashion. So we have a beautiful picture image, but then to follow we actually have a fantastic description which kind of gives you enough information to feel like, oh, I want to learn about this further, and it's fantastic, and that was only £5. And finally, I went to the Jane Austen Centre. Now, I have been here before, and I really enjoyed it the last time. But again, I didn't go into the shop. I just kind of went to the exhibition and then just kind of left. I think it's because, again, I got too hot or it was too busy. But this time, I actually didn't go into the exhibit itself. I actually just went in to go to the shop. But I did pick up a few things. I got served by Lizzie Bennet as well. That's quite cool. The first thing I picked up was this coaster. This is Pride and Prejudice, Jane Austen, the classic books. I just thought this looked really cool. And so far, after the books that I read, Pride and Prejudice is still my favourite. So, and I've read 4 out of the 6. I haven't read Persuasion or Emma. So it could all still change, but at the moment it's Pride and Prejudice. Hence why a lot of the stuff is Pride and Prejudice based. And finally, the last thing that I got was this beautiful picture image. Now, I actually bought 2, but my mom actually bought one of them because she's given it me for Christmas. It's a fantastic Christmas idea. And it's this beautiful image here. And as you can see, it's a little picture of Bath, but it's actually a scene from Jane Austen's Northanger Abbey with the quote, "With more than usual eagerness did Catherine hasten to the pump room, secure within herself as seeing Mr. Tinley there." And that's her there, kind of rushing off to the pump room. These were done by local watercolour artists, and they make absolutely fantastic little images to hang upon the wall, or as presents actually, like my mom's giving me. So that is it. That is a rather large haul. I really enjoyed my time in Bath. As I said, I highly recommend it. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you're new, please click the subscribe button. It would mean the world to me, and I shall see you soon for my next video. Take care for now. Bye.